So very good evening class. Today's class of the MCQ class number 18 of the UGC-NET paper 2 Mass Communication and Journalism. Here we will discuss the important questions that is all related to the PYQ. So here the question that starts from the question number 151. So the fundamental rights of an Indian citizen are subservient to everybody. Parliamentary privileges. B. Executive powers. C. Political dictates. And D. That is media dictates. Everybody will answer. The fundamental rights of an Indian citizen are subservient to everybody. Yes, everybody has answered. So let's check whether your answer it is right or wrong. So right, bilkul sahi jawab. So right answer it is that is A. Parliamentary privileges, right? So all the fundamental rights, right? All the 6 fundamental rights of an Indian citizen that we have been provided, that all fundamental rights are subservient to parliamentary privileges. So it regulates the ideas of power and it determines the use of such freedom in making vital laws for the citizens of the country. The fundamental rights of an Indian citizen are subservient to the parliamentary privileges, right? Very much important. Then only it allows to further discussion in the parliament, right? Question number 152. MTV was initially started as AN. Everybody. MTV was initially started as an satellite channel, cable channel, and terrestrial channel, and online channel. Everybody. जल्दी से सभी लोग आंसर करेंगे. MTV was initially started as an. So this answer, that correct answer it is that is B. Absolutely. This is cable channel. Okay. Very good. When it was started, everybody. No, it's not the submarine online. It's a cable channel. Initially, it was started as a cable channel, and it was started as in 1981. Right. Very good. 1981. Very much important, and it's an American cable channel. Write it down. MTV was initially started as a cable channel in August 1st, 1981 as an American cable channel. Okay. Now next, moving towards the questions. Number 153, that is one condition in causation is everybody constant, B covariation, C cogence, and D that is coexistence. Everybody. One condition in causations, that cause and effect theory that we read, right? That is what we called as in causations. Everybody. So here the right answer that is B. B जो है आपका क्या है? Right answer है. Yes, covariation is the right answer. How it will be covariations? Let's understand. ठीक है? So causation means that one variable causes another to change. एक दो variable होता है, that is independent variable, and another is dependent variable, right? This is what the independent variable, that is cause, and dependent variable, that is effect, right? So which means one variable is dependent on another, right? They are dependent on each. Dependent variables are dependent upon independent variables, right? So this is what about the causation means, that one variable causes another to change. अगर कुछ भी independent variable, if we manipulate the anything in the independent variable, this will affect, right, in the dependent variable. Dependent variable में वो changes आपको दिखेंगे, right? So that is what we call it as cause and effect, right? So one example would be as like, for example, weather gets hot, people experience more sunburns. In this case, weather caused an effect which is sunburn, right? तो यहाँ पर क्या है आपका केस में, वेदर जो है वो क्या है, कॉज एंड इफेक्ट विच इज सनबर्न है आपका. सो दैट इज वेदर, राइट, एंड दिस इज सनबर्न. ओके, ये दो चीजें हैं. वेदर में अगर चेंजेस आएगा, सनबर्न उसी तरीके से चेंज होगा, राइट? सो दैट इज व्हाट, इफ यू मैनिपुलेट एनीथिंग इन द इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल, that definitely it will seem changes in the dependent variable. So What in terms of the covariations? What you know about the covariations? Covariation, that is basically a relationship between two quantitative variables, such as one variable tends to increase or decrease in the value, corresponding values of the other variable tend to also increases or decreases, right? For an example, a is here, a is your variable, एक variable a है और b है. If it is decreasing, अगर आप ये भी डिक्रीज करेगा, अगर आप a इंक्रीज करेंगे, दिस इज योर इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल, यू कैन मैनिपुलेट इन द इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल, राइट? दिस इज व्हाट द इफेक्ट and this is what the cause. If you eat ice cream more, right? If you eat ice cream more, definitely the cold जो आपका होगा that will lead to more, right? Cold will also be more, and if you reduce the eating ice cream, definitely the cold will less, right? So ये चीजें क्या है? It is similarly the corresponding values of the other variables tend to also increases or decreases, right? So that is what about the covariations. दोनों तरफ बढ़ेगा, दोनों तरफ घटेगा. So now how it will relate to the one condition in the causation? It is covariations. So causality concerned relationship when a change in one variable necessarily result in the change in another variable. So there are three conditions of the causality, right? तीन condition है किसका? Causality का. What are the three conditions? जल्दी से बताएंगे. So first condition, that is covariation, and second condition, that is temporal precedence, right? Yes. And third condition, that is control, right? Causality, see, causality basically that is what about, it concerns about the relationship between the variables. Samrin, that is causality concerns relationship between the variables. Between the variables means dependent and independent, right? So if you change in one, another will also be changed. This is what the conditions of the causation. It is also the covariations. Covariation में भी change होता है. What change? The two will increases, the same corresponding will be also increases. Like for an example, that it is here. No, that is not the causality. Causality, yes, that is what about the causality होगा. Yes, causality नहीं है. Yes. This is cause, CAUSE, right? Yes, exactly. Cause, that if you change, cause means this independent variable, right? Cause means this independent variable. So that is about the causality, right? So this is about the causality. You can say that it is here. Clear hai everybody? Samreen, it is clear to you? So this is what about the independent variable, that if you change anything in the cause, that definitely it will effect में भी आपका चेंज होगा. चलिए, तो तीन चीजें आपको ध्यान रखना है. क्या क्या? कंडीशंस में, कॉजेशंस में की अगर कंडीशंस की बात करेंगे तो कोवेरिएशंस और टेम्परल प्रेसिडेंस एंड कंट्रोल, राइट? सो उसमें से एक कंडीशन जो है आपका क्या है? कोवेरिएशंस है. इट इज क्लियर? नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 154. यस, 154 जो है आपका, दैट इज पर्सनल रियल टाइम and customized online media with a 3D mode are called, everybody, multimedia, digital media, online media, and D, immersive media. Everybody. Everybody will. That is what immersive media, right? Very good. Immersive media is the right one. So personal, real time, and customized online media with a 3D mode are called immersive media. That you have to remember. Immersive media आपका कौन सा मीडिया होता है? जो virtual reality, right? The VR that we use to watch a film or to just 3D experience आपको चाहिए तो आप VR को यूज करते हो. That is virtual reality. So immersive media refers to technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality. So this is VR simulates an environment via a computer to immerse a user through various senses in a virtual 3D experiences, right? So in a simple words, we can understand that immersive media is defined as immersive technologies that attempts to create or imitate the physical world through the digital simulations, right? So this is what about the immersive media. So that you have to remember. So this is the personal space that you get through the VR, and also that real time, and also the customized online media with a 3D mode. That is what we can call it as a immersive media. Okay. So this is what a kind of the technologies like the virtual reality and augmented reality. Okay. Question number 155. इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल इज ऑल्सो नोन एज, इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल को आप कौन सा वेरिएबल और कहते हैं? डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल, बी कंट्रोल वेरिएबल, सी सिस्टमैटिक वेरिएबल एंड क्यूमुलेटिव वेरिएबल. एवरीबॉडी, डिपेंडेंट, कंट्रोल, सिस्टमैटिक, क्यूमुलेटिव. yes, very good, that's the right answer. कंट्रोल वेरिएबल, राइट. कंट्रोल वेरिएबल होता है आपका इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल इज आल्सो नोन एज कंट्रोल वेरिएबल. इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल आप किससे बोलते हैं? इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल एक्सप्लेन व्हाई और हाउ द रिलेशनशिप एग्जिस्ट्स, राइट. रिलेशनशिप क्यों एग्जिस्ट किया, दोनों के बीच में कैसा रिलेशनशिप है, हाउ द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द डिपेंडेंट एंड इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इट इज, एंड व्हाई और हाउ, दिस व्हाट आंसर, राइट. सो फॉर एन एग्जांपल, इनकम इज एन इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल. ठीक है, इनकम जो है क्या है? इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल है. किसके किसके बीच का? कौन कौन से रिलेशनशिप का? एजुकेशन एंड सेकेंड दैट इज स्पेंडिंग, राइट. Education and spending. Education, it is your, right, the independent variable, and this is dependent variable. Spending is your dependent variable. So this is what about that if the level of the educations, right, the level of the education, here it is, the level of the educations, it is your independent variable, and the spending, it is your dependent variable. So what about the intervening variables? Intervening variables is also known as mediating variables. इसको आप क्या बोलते हो? Mediating variable भी बोलते हो, साथ साथ में control variables भी बोलते हो, right? You control the variables of the independent, right? इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स को आप कंट्रोल करते हो, और इस तरीके से क्या होता है, इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल्स में आप कुछ भी चीजें यहाँ पर किस तरीके से रिएक्शन होकर इफेक्ट हो रहा है, दैट इज व्हाट अबाउट द इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल्स, राइट. सो लाइक फॉर एन एग्जांपल दैट वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड बेटर, राइट, वी व्हेन वी आर रीडिंग द क्लासेस, जब हम लोग क्लासेस में पढ़ रहे थे उस समय हमने एग्जांपल भी दिया था इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल्स का. अगर आप लोगों को याद होगा तो देन यू कैन रिकॉल इट, राइट. सो फॉर एन एग्जांपल वी कैन सी हियर दैट ऑब्जर्व द ग्रोथ ऑफ अ प्लांट. The temperature can be classified of the control variable if it is controlled during an experiment, right? So हमने एक हॉर्लिक्स का एग्जांपल लिया था, right? हॉर्लिक्स एंड growth of a body, right? So this is what about independent variables, and this is dependent variables, right? So हॉर्लिक्स की जैसे जैसे आप मात्रा बढ़ाएंगे, definitely you will what it seems as it, you will see the growth, right? So this is what about that here, what it is here, intervening variables, that is what about the here intervening variables, जल्दी से बताएंगे, that is what about reaction, right? yes, reactions आपका जो है that is reaction, it is your intervening variables. For an example, अगर आप दूसरा एग्जांपल लेंगे, हमने यहाँ पे ग्रोथ ऑफ द प्लांट, राइट. अगर आप प्लांट की ग्रोथ को ऑब्जर्व कीजिए, राइट, फॉर एन एग्जांपल हियर द वी कैन सी दैट अगर प्लांट है और प्लांट की ग्रोथ है, राइट, ग्रोथ ऑफ ए प्लांट, दैट इफ यू पुट वाटर, ठीक है, सारी चीजें अगर आप पानी देंगे तो डेफिनेटली जो प्लांट का है वो ग्रोथ होगा. बट इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल्स बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं दैट वी डू नॉट ऑब्जर्व डायरेक्टली, but it seems like, right, it helps in the growth. So like for an example, what are the control variables in which helps in the growth of the plant? That is what? Sunlight, right? Yes. Soil, very good, that is pot of the plant, right? Yes, pot of the plant. Water, it is your here, the water we have taken as an independent variable, so will not count as an intervening variables, right? So the pot of the plant, soil and sunlight, this we called as an intervening variables, right? So this is what that we do not directly observe the intervening variables, but it helps in the growth, right? So that is what about the intervening variables. We can also understand it as a control variables or the mediating variables. Please note it down. Okay, क्लियर है सभी को? जल्दी से बताएंगे. इट इज ऑल क्लियर? Yes. So next question, it is here about 156. An audience research unit of Doordarshan conducted a study in the 1993, which revealed that development-oriented programs do not have viewership because of, everybody, lack of local specificity, B, absence of entertainment, C, language barrier, and D, lack of diversity in the programs. Everybody, just read it twice, the questions, you will get the answer. An audience research unit of the Doordarshans conducted a study in 1993, which revealed that development-oriented programs do not have a viewership. Why? Yes, absolutely. Varnika has answered, right? So this is what about the answer, that is A. That is lack of local specificity, right? This is the answer actually, not in that programs diversity. प्रोग्राम में डाइवर्सिटी लाने के कारण या उसकी कमी के कारण नहीं हुआ. सबसे ज्यादा जो लैक हुआ, that is what about that we were unable to reach the locality, right? We have not specified the locality, right? So this was what about the, we can say that this was the lack actually. So audience research unit of Doordarshans conducts survey to access the needs and the reactions of the audience, right? So please understand this, that there is the audience research unit of the Doordarshans, that what we called it as a, हम उसको क्या बोलते हैं, DART, right? DART, Doordarshan Audience Research Television Television Ratings, DARTR, right? So this is what about DARTR, that you have to understand this abbreviations or acronyms. Okay, this said DARTR, that it is a kind of the survey in order to access the needs and the reactions of the audience towards the programs of the televisions, right? So this is what about that we need to, we take the suggestions to improve the programs on the Doordarshan. So there was a study conducted in the 1993, and it revealed that development oriented programs do not have a viewerships. It means that there was a lack of the local specificity that we have to understand, right? So this is what about that audience research unit of the Doordarshans. क्लियर है सभी को? जल्दी से बताएंगे. इट इज ऑल क्लियर? Monita, it is clear? Yes. Okay. Next, a single value that represents a typical score in a distribution is known as. सिंगल वैल्यू वो क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है जब हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की बातें करते हैं, दैट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन in a distribution that typical to a score, that what it represents a single value, that is limited value, terminal factor, critical value, and D, that is central tendency. Everybody answer. A single value that represents a typical score in a distribution is known as, in a distribution that we know mean, median, and mode, right? Mean is the different thing, mode is different, and yes, that is what about the answer that we got from you all, that is D. Absolutely very good, that's the right answer. वो आपका क्या है? Right answer है, that is central tendency, right? So central tendency, that measures defined as numbers used to represent the center or the middle or a set of data values. ठीक है, जितने हमारे जो set of data values है उसके middle values, right? That middle value, not the limited value. Middle value is called as an or center value. Middle value, center value, or the central tendency. This is all the same. Okay. The value is one single value. These all are the single value. एक single value होता है distribution का, the set of distributions का एक सिंगल वैल्यू होता है जिसको हम मिडिल वैल्यू भी कहते हैं, सेंटर वैल्यू भी कहते हैं और सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी भी कहते हैं, राइट? सो थ्री कॉमनली यूज्ड मेजर ऑफ द सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी, दैट इज मीन, मीडियन, मोड, राइट? मीन मीडियन मोड से ही आपका क्या पता चलता है, सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी पता चलता है, राइट। सो सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी दैट इज डिफाइंड एज the statistical measure that identifies a single value as representatives of an entire distributions, right? So entire distribution का representatives एक single value के form में जो होता है, that is what central tendency, right? So it is a single value, it is most typical representative of the collected data, right? क्लियर है सभी को? जल्दी से बताएंगे। सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी, इट इज क्लियर टू यू, दैट इज अ सिंगल वैल्यू दैट यू हैव टू नो, ओके? यस, फॉर ऑफ एन एंटायर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशंस। वेरी गुड। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। द ऑनरशिप ऑफ a newspaper press is administered by the general law of, न्यूज़पेपर प्रेस का ऑनरशिप इज एडमिनिस्टर्ड बाय द जनरल लॉ ऑफ लेबर, फाइनेंस, प्रोडक्शंस एंड दैट इज दी प्रॉपर्टी। एवरीबॉडी जल्दी से बताएंगे। यस, आई गॉट द आंसर्स फ्रॉम द रचना। सो एवरीबॉडी जल्दी से बताएंगे, सभी लोग आंसर्स करेंगे। द ऑनरशिप ऑफ a newspaper press is administered by the general law of property. Yes, very good. Everybody is right. सभी लोगों ने सही आंसर्स दिया है। Property is the right answer, right? So there are four major types of ownership of media that you know. Four types of ownership in mass media, right? जल्दी से बताएंगे कौन कौन सा है। एवरीबॉडी, मास मीडिया का ऑनरशिप वो चार टाइप क्या क्या है? व्हाट आर द फोर टाइप्स? यस, दैट इज फर्स्ट कॉन्ग्लोमेरेट, राइट? चलिए, सेकेंड ओके वर्टिकल इंटीग्रेशंस, वेरी गुड, एंड थर्ड दैट इज चेन, एंड फोर्थ दैट इज क्रॉस मीडिया, राइट? चलिए, ये चारों क्या है, अलग अलग क्या है? ये ऑनरशिप पैटर्न है मास मीडिया के अंदर। दिस ऑल आर कॉल्ड एज फोर मेजर टाइप्स ऑफ ऑनरशिप इन द मास मीडिया, राइट? दैट इज चेन, क्रॉस मीडिया, कॉन्ग्लोमेरेट एंड वर्टिकल इंटीग्रेशंस। So news media in the India is owned by the business families and the individuals, right? हमारे news media, like you talk for the newspaper, either you talk for the news channels or the news portals, right? That is all owned by the business families, individuals, or along with the numerous investors in the form of joint stock companies, societies, trusts, and firms, right? So like we can see that the ownership of newspaper press, as similarly that we have discussed, that is administered by the general law of property, right? The general law of property, like the society that we registered, the like the trust that we registered, the firms that we registered, in the similarly the ownership of a newspaper press is also administered by the general law of property, right? क्लियर है सभी को? जल्दी से बताएंगे। इट इज ऑल क्लियर? यस, वेरी गुड। चलिए नेक्स्ट 159, द masses under a masses that is implicitly conveyed by the media is referred to as, everybody will answers, a masses under a masses, right? masses के पीछे masses that implicitly conveyed by the media is referred to as subtext, hidden text, mask text and sublime text. everybody जल्दी से, yes, everybody will answer. Mani Megla has answered correctly. Yes. So what the answer? Very good. चलिए, right answer is masked text, right? masked text जो है वो आपका क्या है? right answer है. So the masses under a masses that is implicitly conveyed by the media is referred as masked text. So a hidden masses क्या होता है? What is hidden masses? Hidden masses is basically that information that is not immediately noticeable, right? That must be discovered or the uncovered, that is called as a hidden text. But in the context of masked text, the masses under masses that is implicitly covered by masked text, that masked text is basically that controlled allows for the text that entry within a mask. ठीक है, एक आपने मास्क बना लिया, that you just control it, right? The mask is control allows for the text entry within a mask, right? Like for an example that you have made a mask, ठीक है, आपने इस तरीके का मास्क बनाया, राइट राइट, यस एग्जैक्टली, आपने इस तरीके का मास्क बनाया, एंड दिस इज व्हाट हाइपरलिंक, यस वेरी गुड दैट रचना हैज आंसर्ड हियर दैट हाइपरलिंक, हाइपरलिंक कॉल बी एज ए मार्क स्टेज, राइट। इसके पीछे एक मैसेज होता है, लाइक यू माइट हैव सीन इन द न्यूज पोर्टल, राइट, आपने न्यूज पोर्टल के अंदर देखा होगा, और भी पढ़े, राइट, read more it is written, and there, right, read more, when you click on it, that another message will it be open, right, कुछ नया मैसेज ओपन हो जाएगा, दिस इज व्हाट वी कैन कॉल इट इज एज मार्क्स टेक्स्ट, राइट। वेरी गुड एग्जांपल दैट गिवन बाय द रचना, वेरी गुड, बहुत ही सुंदर। सो मार्क्स टेक्स्ट इट इज दैट व्हाट it is considered as the masses under a masses, right, that we can take the example of hyperlink, that it is like, here we have given you the example read more, right, it is written some text, it is there, and beside some text or the below some text it is written as read more, when you click on the read more, some another message it is opened, so that is what we can say that a masses under a masses that is conveyed by the media is referred to as marks text। everybody जल्दी से बताएंगे, मार्क्स सेट सभी को समझ में आएगा, इट इज ऑल क्लियर, यस, और अदर्स एवरीबॉडी, किरुबा इट इज क्लियर, मंजू इट इज क्लियर, समरीन इट इज क्लियर, यस, ओके। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन 160, ओके समरीन किरुबा, चलिए 160 दैट इज हियर, the description of mass media as magic multipliers was given by, ये तो आपको ऐसे ही आंसर देना चाहिए, मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स का नाम सुन के ही आंसर देना चाहिए, जल्दी से बताएंगे। इफ यू कैन आंसर्स विदाउट ऑप्शंस देन प्लीज आंसर, द मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स मीडिया एज मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स वाज गिवन बाय, यस अभिषेक हैज आंसर। चलिए, वाटर लिपमैन, डेनिस मैकवेल, डेनियल लर्नर एंड विल्बुर स्टैम, एवरीबॉडी, the descriptions of mass media as magic multipliers was given by, very good, awesome, all right, so right answer it is that is D जो है आपका क्या है, right answer है विल्बुर स्टैम, right, विल्बुर स्टैम is the right answer। सो यहां पर देखिए इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें क्या है जानने के लिए, मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स, व्हाट इज अबाउट द मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स, मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स इट मल्टीप्लाई द मैसेजेस, राइट, मल्टीप्लाई द मैसेजेस, एक मैसेज आपके पास है, यू गॉट द वन मैसेज एंड यू जस्ट मल्टीप्लाई टू द नंबर ऑफ द पीपल that it reach as fast, right, so that is what here the magic multipliers, as it can multiply the message and reach a number of people very fast, that the concept given by the Wilbur Sam in the 1964 in his book Mass Media and National Development, very important book written by the Wilbur Sam in the 1964, please remember the book का नाम भी आपको ध्यान रखना है, याद रखना है, मैच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग क्वेश्चंस में आपसे पूछा जा सकता है, they can ask in the pattern of the match of the following questions, so you have to remember the name of the book that written by the Wilbur Sam, so what the name of the book that is, everybody write it in the comment box, what the name of the book by written by the Wilbur Sam in the 1964, that is Mass Media and National Development, yes, very good, that is Mass Media and National Development, very good, all right, so the mass media have been called as, here now the another thing it is about, जल्दी से बताएंगे, अब यहां पर mobility multipliers, everybody, mobility multipliers, the concept of mobility multipliers किसने दिया, mobility multipliers, and one is magic multipliers, that you have to remember, do not get confused, right, आपको कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है, जल्दी से बताएंगे, मोबिलिटी मल्टीप्लायर्स, राइट इट, मोबिलिटी मल्टीप्लायर्स कॉन्सेप्ट गिवन बाय द डेनियल लर्नर, राइट, इन द मॉडर्नाइजेशन थ्योरी, in the modernization theory there is the mobility multipliers approaches that given by the Daniel Lerner, and the magic multipliers in the book Mass Media National Development by the Wilbur Sam, this concept it is given, right, Wilbur Sam, okay, क्लियर है दोनों कॉन्सेप्ट? इट इज क्लियर, द बोथ ऑफ द कॉन्सेप्ट इट इज क्लियर, दैट मोबिलिटी मल्टीप्लायर्स एंड द मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स दैट गिवन बाय द, यस, डैनियल लर्नर एंड विल्बर्स रैम। ओके, चलिए। So the mass media have been also called as mobility multipliers because this image of developed societies, right? Image of developed society like the American societies, Japanese societies, Chinese societies, arouse among people of the traditional societies a hankering of the better or higher standard of the living. That is what we can call it as an advertisement. The mechanism by which such expectations are aroused is known as empathy. और उसी में हम एक टर्म देते हैं मॉडर्नाइजेशन में, empathy. That is also the given by the Daniel Lerner, right? So Daniel Lerner termed mass media as mobility of multipliers and the Wilbur Sam considered them to be as a magic multipliers. ठीक है, कॉन्सेप्ट एक ही है बट लोगों ने अलग अलग अपने विचार से लोगों ने कहा है, किसी ने कहा है मैजिक मल्टीप्लायर्स और किसी ने कहा है मोबिलिटी मल्टीप्लायर्स। दैट इज व्हाट द इंफॉर्मेशन इज fast reached, right? The reach a number of people very fast. So that's why the Daniel Lerner called it is as a mobility multipliers and Wilbur Sam it is called as an magic multipliers, right? Clear hai? Yes. So Walter Lippmann given the concept, everybody, Walter Lippmann given the concept of public, everybody, Walter Lippmann, yes, public opinion. Very good. Walter Lippmann given the concept of public opinion. Very much important. Please note it down. Walter Lippmann, one more thing, that is what is also known as father of modern advertising. Okay. Note it down. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। 161 short and rapid variation in the speed of the reproducers will create an audio distortion known as short and rapid variations. Please understand the twice, right? Short and rapid variations in the speed of the reproducer will create an audio distortion is known as what? क्या बोलते हैं? Mechanical noise, equipment distortion, C, conclusion, and D, flutter. Everybody answer it. Short and rapid variations in the speed of reproducers will create an audio distortion known as. Yes. Got the informations? Everybody? Yes. Very good. That's the right answer. Flutter. Flutter जो है आपका क्या है? Right answers है. So irregularities that occur at higher frequencies are called as flutter. Irregularities. Please note it down these terms. Irregularities, distortions, speed and rapid variation in the sound. Okay, speed and rapid variation in the sound, distortion in the sound, irregularities in the sound. These all are known as flutter. इस सभी चीज को क्या बोलते हैं? Flutter बोलते हैं, right? If any distortions in the sound, right, in the speed, like the speed, right, the rapid variation it is, that is called as an flutter. A cause as roughening of the tone. A piano sounds like a harp. A voice is waver with a small and rapid variations above and below proper pitch. Flutter and wow in sound reproductions waver in reproduced tones or the group of tones that is caused by the irregularities in turntable or the tape drive speed during the recording. आपने देखा होगा, you might have observed when there was the audio cassette. When there was the audio cassette like this, अगर इस तरीके के कैसेट आपने देखा होगा, right? There was the cassette reel was there, right? And when it was played, कुछ अलग तरीके की sound आती थी, right? Have you observed when it was played sometimes? sometimes it was speedy, right? Speed variations or in the music or the like in the sound, that it is distortion sound, it is like अलग तरीके की आवाज आती थी. So that is what we can call it as a, yes Abhilasha, so that is what we can call it as a flutter. उसको हम flutter बोलते हैं, right? Irregularities, the frequencies in the higher frequency, that is called it as a flutter. 162, the concept of positivism is found in, the concept of positivism is found in transnational communication, developmental communication, C, intercultural communication, and D, organizational communications. Everybody. No, 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 it's not Mani Meghlai. A is not the answer. चलिए B, C, D में बताइए. The concept of positivism is found in. Yes. All right. C is the right answer. That is C जो है आपका क्या है? Right answer. Intercultural communications, right? The concept of positivism. So positivism का मतलब क्या होता है? What we call it as in positivism. Positivism is basically a philosophical theory which states that genuine knowledge, right? It is genuine knowledge that it is like the empirical approaches, right? Empirical approaches means the practical approaches you get the knowledge. आप practical approaches को अपना कर आप knowledge लेते हो, experience लेते हो, right? You understand the natural phenomena through the sense organs. Yes, exactly, through the experiences, right? So that is what about the positivism. So we can read it here. The positivism is a philosophical theory which states that genuine knowledge, the knowledge of anything which is not true by the definitions से नहीं, book से नहीं, right? That genuine knowledge is exclusively derived from the experience of the natural phenomena and their report and their properties and the relations which given by the French philosopher Auguste Comte, right? Yes, given by the Auguste Comte. Very much important, right? So this is what about the genuine knowledge that is derived from experience of the natural phenomena and their properties and the relations which given by the Auguste Comte. It is very much important. So it is what that it is about the reality that we gain from the sense organs that Abhishek has shared, that we gain from the properties, that we gain from the experiences of the natural phenomena. That is what about the positivism. Okay, so aside from the languages, अगर languages को एक side कर दें, languages also be considered as an cultural, right? So that is the intercultural communication focuses on social attributes through thought patterns, culture of the different groups of the people. It also involves understanding the different cultures, languages, and the characteristics that you need, right? And the customs of the people from the other countries. So basically, intercultural communication, it talks about understanding the different culture, right? Understanding the language and customs of the people, right? So this is what about when we are understanding the customs, when we are understanding their languages, their cultures, and their we can say that civilizations. These all we considered as intercultural communications. That is what about the culture of the people from the other countries, customs of the people from the other countries, that we call it is as an exchange of the culture between the two countries or the two states or the two persons, two societies, that we call it as an intercultural communications. So a positivist paradigm assumes that if you identify the right personal characteristics that you need, you will be able to interculturally competent. It entails learning recipes of the do's and don'ts of the correct behavior to understand the another culture, right? So आपको do's and don'ts, right? आपको अगर पता करना है that what you know about the do's and don'ts of the correct behavior, that you have to understand the another cultures, right? That you have to participate in their cultures. आपके उनके cultures में participate करना होगा, then only you can understand about the concept of positivism. So that we can call it as the concept of positivism is found in the intercultural communications, right? That we find the genuine knowledge from their cultures, from their languages, from their customs. Okay, chaliye, history of authoritarian theory can be traced to, everybody, history of authoritarian theory can be traced to Aristotle, B, Stuart Mill, C, Adam Smith, and D, Plato. Answer it fast. The history of authoritarian theory can be traced to. No, it's not the Aristotle. A is not the answer. Everybody, जल्दी से आंसर करेंगे. Yes, that's the right answer. That is D. D जो है आपका right answer है Plato. The authoritarian theory का जो history है that can be traced to the Plato. The authoritarian theory of mass communication originated from the philosophy of the Plato, right? The English monarchs used this approach when the printing press was invented by the censoring, licensing, taxation and making laws. ठीक है, ये उस समय ये चीजें निकला जब प्रिंटिंग प्रेस जब इन्वेंट हुआ था बाय द सेंसरिंग, लाइसेंसिंग एंड टैक्सेशन एंड मेकिंग लॉज, उसी समय ऑथोरिटेरियन थ्योरीज का कॉन्सेप्ट आया, राइट? सॉरी, ओके. So this is what about the authoritarian theory, and the authoritarian theory that we know is that it describes the all forms of communication which are under control of the governing elite or authorities or the influential bureaucrats, right? So this is what about the medias are controlled under the government, under some authorities or the under some influential bureaucrats. That is what we can call it as an authoritarian theories, which is a part of the normative theories. Okay, so this is what we can know it that please remember the Plato can be that it authoritarian theory can be traced to the Plato. Okay, चलिए एरिस्टोटल के बारे में जानते हैं. एरिस्टोटल we know that he was a Greek philosopher, right? Greek philosopher. Stuart Mill, English philosopher, and given the concept of very important concept of everybody, that is utilitarianism. Okay, utilitarianism concept, it is given by the Stuart Mill. Okay, yes. So what is utilitarianism? क्या होता है utilitarianism? जल्दी से बताएंगे everybody if you know. It is the principle that, see, yes, pleasure, it is about the pleasure or the happiness. Yes, very good Rachna. It is about the pleasure and happiness. The utilitarianism जो है आपका क्या है? It is about the pleasure and happiness. So he said that actions are right in the proportions, right? It also reject the unhappiness also, right? Very good. देखिए, reject unhappiness and reverse happiness भी होता है, right? That actions are right in the proportions as they tend to promote happiness. ठीक है, wrong as they tend to produce the reverse of happiness. कर्म, कर्म के ऊपर इन्होंने बात किया है, that is work. If you work more, if you work hard, if you work better, right, then definitely the happiness, it will promote the happiness, right? So definitely if your work is in the wrong direction, अगर आपका work अगर wrong directions में है, तो definitely that will produce the reverse of the happiness, right? It will produce the reverse of happiness. So this is what about they are talking about the happiness and unhappiness, right? They are also, yes, concept of pain and pleasure, right? Very good. That concept of pain and as well as pleasure. Pleasure, that means happiness, and pain, that is reverse of happiness. Reverse of happiness. Okay. So concept of pain and pleasure, that reverse of happiness and happiness, it is in the utilitarianism. Okay. That concept given by the Stuart Mill. Okay. चलिए, एडम स्मिथ का वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट बुक है, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट बुक है, जल्दी से बताएंगे. Important book written by the Adam Smith that has already been asked in the match of the following questions. Yes, that is Wealth of the Nations, right? The Wealth of Nations, written by the Adam Smith, right? Or Adam Smith, also known as father of capitalism, right? Father of capitalism and father of economics. Okay. Please note it down. Father of Economics and Father of Capitalism and Wealth of Nation is a book written by the Adam Smith. Okay. चलिए, प्लाटो को हमने बताया आपको कि प्लाटो से ही कॉन्सेप्ट लिया गया है इस ऑथोरिटेरियन थ्योरीज का. ओके, चलिए नेक्स्ट. The last question of the day, it is here. The Newcomb's ABX model is an extension of. Newcomb's ABX model is an extension of. Everybody will answer. Cultivation theory, socialization theory, balance theory, D, pleasure theory. Everybody, जल्दी से बताएंगे. Newcomb's ABX model is an extension of. No, B is not the right answer. चलिए अब A, B और D में आंसर बताएंगे. एवरीबॉडी, B is not your answer. चलिए A is not your answer. A आपका आंसर नहीं है. लास्ट, चलिए जल्दी से बताएंगे. C और D में A भी आंसर नहीं है आपका और B भी आंसर नहीं है. चलिए एक हिंट, want to hint everybody? Yes. चलिए, so here the pictures, it is here. जल्दी से बताएंगे. Yes, that is all about the balance. Okay, yes, balance theory. Okay, very much important. So you can see the pictures and you can observe the things it is here written, the balance and unbalance, right? चलिए, so इसको concept को समझते हैं. So Newcomb ABX model is an extension of balance theory, right? और बैलेंस थ्योरी किसने दिया, जल्दी से पहले बताएंगे. बैलेंस थ्योरी, हु गिवन द बैलेंस थ्योरी? एवरीबॉडी. चलिए, हीडर ने कॉन्सेप्ट दिया है, फ्रिज हीडर ने. ओके, Theodore M. Newcomb in the 1953 given this concept ABX model, and this is about the header, right? The balance theory, HEIDER. Header's idea of balance out of the head of the one person and applied it to the communication between the people, right? He uses the term symmetry to distinguish it from the balance theory and contends that we attempt to influence one another to bring about symmetry or the balance or the equilibrium. Okay, so हमने एबिक्स मॉडल में इक्विलिब्रियम का कॉन्सेप्ट समझते हैं, right? That here is the sender, both A and B. ABX model means A and B is the communicator, right? The sender and the receivers. So sender and receivers can be like teacher and the student, right? Teacher and the students are discussing on some topic. X is your topic. X जो है आपका टॉपिक है, और T and S, that is teacher and the student, between A and B, sender and receivers, right? So that is what X may affect of the flow of relationship, right? ABX में कौन affect कर सकता है relationship में? Everybody, which one can affect the relationship? Everybody, in the ABX, which one can affect the relationship? Everybody, the flow of relationship. The flow of relationship जो है, yes, X, right? In the ABX, X can affect, yes, exactly. X can affect the flow of relationship, right? X is your topic. The topic can affect the relationship between the teacher and the students. Okay. Similarly, we can take the example like here, the reader, right? Newspaper and reader, right? The newspaper and readers. Newspaper and readers. As we have discussed between the teacher and the students, here the newspaper and readers, right? And X, that may be some any topic or any public informations, right? और उसको लेकर वाद विवाद हो जाना, चीजें बढ़ जानी. So this is what about that discussions, right? So X may be the social issues, right? X may be the social issues. Okay. So this is what we can gather the information, we can discuss it and come to the solutions. So this is what we can also understand the ABX model, how the information is balanced, how the flow of relations effect from the X factors, right? So this is what we can understand the flow of relationship. So it is similarly the concept which has been taken as from the balance theory, right? ये आपका balance theory था. Now understand the balance theory. Like here the example between balance and unbalance, right? Here we have also understand the balancing between the newspaper and readers, balancing the relations between the flow of information between the newspaper readers, as we have also discussed between the teacher and the student, right? So in order to understand the balance theory, even you have to understand the concept. It is here in the, it is described in the pictures, right? Like here the Tina, Joe and Tom, right? So relationship दोनों में तीनों में balance है. The plus plus sign it is there, it is balanced, right? यहाँ पे minus minus and plus, that is it is also balanced, right? It is also balanced. And when it is unbalanced, that is when it is both sides, this is plus, right? And here it is one minus, right? That is unbalanced. And here when it is minus, that is also can be considered as unbalanced, right? Like for an example, we can take that this is boy and girl, right? They both are best friend, they are best friend, right? इसीलिए इनकी दोस्ती अच्छी है. तो ये बैलेंस अपने इंफॉर्मेशन इस तरीके से सर्कुलेट कर रहे हैं कि किसी भी तरीके का किसी में किसी कोई कमी नहीं है. एंड दे आर बैलेंस, राइट? अगर कुछ चीजें हो जाती है, एक दूसरे की बात नहीं बताते हैं, कोई चीजें हो जाती है लाइक फन और लाइक द बॉयफ्रेंड एंड गर्लफ्रेंड वाली जो हिसाब होती है, द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द राइट, द रिलेशनशिप में जो दरारें आती, जो चीजें होती है, जो डाइवोर्स होता है, जो हस्बैंड वाइफ एंड फ्रेंड्स, राइट? Like for an example, in the balance theory, which usually we learn here, right? Like for an example, there is a husband and wife, and here is a friends, right? So unbalanced होने की संभावना, if they are both friends, then balance it is, right? अगर थोड़ा सा भी अगर कुछ चीजें इधर से उधर हुआ, that is totally it will be unbalanced. And the concept that is here, divorce यहाँ पर हो सकता है, ठीक है? यहाँ पे divorce हो सकता है, right? Between husband and wife. This is what about we can understand the balance theory. So this is the extensions of Newcomb's ABX model. It is an extensions of balance theory. Okay. So balance theory given by the header. Okay. Newcomb's model, that is given by the M. Newcomb, Theodore M. Newcomb. Thank you to everybody. Thank you so much.